Hi, everyone. Thank you for stopping by and thank you for your time. I'm going to go over this week's post, and since I forgot last week to include a little more commentary about the subject in the last week's post so that I could also upload it to YouTube, which is also part of my plan. I would like all of these to function together. So I'm going to expand on things a little bit here at the end to make this more suitable for YouTube and Facebook, as well as being on my own blog post. Excuse me. I have post-nasal drip today for some reason. So I'm going to share screen and go over this week's posts. A little commentary, and then I'll wrap it up. And hopefully, well, just a second. Let me open this window. So we can see it. Okay. This week's post is, why is sugar toxic? Why is sugar so toxic? An ongoing investigation into the current revelations about fructose and how it affects cell signaling, protein expression, and more, specifically regarding leptin, and contributes to the many symptoms of diabetes. Dairy and kefir help prevent and reverse many of these toxic effects. This week's low sugar recipe is date nut muffins. I know we just made the date nut bread and it is delicious, and I can safely eat that type of bread, and these are the types of recipes and things that have led to my current experiments about what exactly does have an effect on my blood sugar levels. And since I've lost 40 pounds in the last year, I've been an active guinea pig in this new advice about differentiating between carbs, even high processed food, and the effects of fructose. So the curated video is why too much sugar is toxic. Jerry Hart, PhD, describes what's known about the biochemistry behind sugar's toxicity. And there's some more diabetes info that from a meta-analysis that has looked at all these studies regarding fructose specifically. One of the most interesting things about his talk in particular was that American consumption of sugar, I believe it was American, went from about 10 pounds 100 years ago, I believe he said, to 134 pounds per year today. That is quite an increase in sugar consumption. So that's a statistic worth repeating to give people a real life example of why this pandemic, diabetes pandemic is so out of control. So there's a link there to the entire study and the impact of free sugar on human health. And I would probably disregard the studies about the confusion of natural fructose from fruit may be associated with a reduced risk of type 2 diabetes, and the reason for that is the fiber in whole fruit, which protects against, which isn't the same as drinking something like fruit juice. So, okay. I have to remove that heading. So in here, I have a list of some of the excerpts from Immune for Life and some of the source research regarding fructose and kefir and how kefir can protect against fructose-induced metabolic disorders and imbalance created by modern diet on normal gut bacteria. So there's that, and then another little new study about how they are trying to find probiotics that specifically reduce fructose, that specifically consume and reduce fructose to prevent it from causing its effects on the liver. And one of those was plantarum, L-plantarum. So, and then Immune for Life and 2 social share buttons. So, for the YouTube audience, this is one of my first concessions into diet as a specific major factor in the development of a condition prior to the biological tsunami of not breastfeeding and the condition known as SAM. And this is giving me something to actually expand upon rather than keep repeating the same things over and over again, however valuable they are, because I still see young people and teenagers, young people, still embarking on the same wrong path, hoping to fix their gut by one diet after another, one pill after another, and I can see them descending into greater and greater problems by thinking that that will achieve healing and health, when in reality they have to understand that they have to go back to the very beginning of their life and understand their first diet. And I give one good example of that in a recent post called The Trajectory of SIBO, where I can clearly see this young man grasping at the same path that many of us tried to take for years, decades, and eventually, like him, wasting time as well as thousands upon thousands of dollars. And so clearly this message is getting lost in the what's the word? It's getting lost in all of the health content that is out there, because that what's out there is usually what's faddish, and it's just the way it goes. But the message, this core message, is getting lost. And the other thing I would like to say, so that is part of the reason, go to Immune for Life. And even though you will be seeing these new posts about sugar and diet, sugar consumption as primary cause to date, although I expect that further on down the line, the microbiota will be determined to be playing a greater and greater role. Just hasn't been studied in depth yet. So for this particular case regarding fructose, liver insulin resistance, fructose-induced obesity, etc., that just hasn't been studied yet. But I expect that further on down the line, just like everything else on Immune for Life, it will be further validated that the microbiota is actually playing a very great role in these conditions. And so I want people to realize that there is so much more on Immune for Life than these current posts, in which I fully acknowledge that some conditions precede the biological tsunami of the first diet and the infant diet, and that would be diabetes and cancer primarily. So I fully acknowledge that they existed, and they affected a relatively significant population, and that's worth acknowledging, and it's worth learning about, and it's worth appreciating what they are doing today. So in addition to all of that, you're going to find so much more on Immune for Life, and so I hope you'll check it out. But regarding, it just occurred to me today as I was going over the excerpt from Immune for Life regarding the microbiota transplant, first in mice, that led to the that caused and reversed obesity in both the mice and humans. I did read the mice study. I'm sure I probably read the human study, but I don't remember the specifics of it. And what we don't know is the cause of both the obesity in the mice and the obesity in the humans. So it did occur to me that that would be a pretty good smoking gun if they induce the obesity in mice with a high fructose diet, and then reverse it with a fecal transplant, and then did the same in humans, and vice versa. If the test subjects, in the obese test subjects, were obese because of their high fructose diet, and then they reversed it with a fecal transplant, that would be a really good smoking gun about the role of the microbiota in diabetes and insulin resistance and whatnot, as well as obesity. So that just occurred to me today. So that's just more of the type of experienced analysis and following the dots that you're going to get on Alternativa, and as well as in Immune for Life. And another thing I'd like to say is regarding that I am seeing young people getting lost, and they're descending into SIBO and SAM and extreme malnourished states. The role that fiber plays in helping to prevent insulin resistance, while is certainly true, it does offer a protective effect. it was studied and tested, and it did not, fiber and nutrient dense foods did not reverse the condition known as SNAM. So, and I believe that includes the metabolic dysfunctions that are going on. If you read the paragraph about the hierarchy of risk, you understand that biosynthesis is part of that picture, and that includes metabolism. So fiber was not as protective as they're claiming in regards to these particular conditions. So these people and these children who are getting lost need to understand that their microbiome has to be rebuilt from the ground up as close as we can make it to natural breastfeeding, and that would include what you'll find on Immune for Life, what you'll find on Anaerobic, what you'll find through guava yogurt, what you'll find through GCMAF. And that treatment has to continue as long as it takes to rebuild the microbiome and heal the gut, and then go on to reverse all the other damage caused by all of the resulting downstream effects of such conditions, however many years they existed. So this is my wrap up for both Facebook, YouTube, Anaerobic, and as well as Immune for Life on Facebook. And so I'm at the end, and that's this week's post. And remember, even though I'm focusing on diet primarily at the moment, because this condition is truly affecting the entire world population, and it is extremely expensive and will not be reversed without public participation. We do not have enough livers to go around. We do not have enough kidneys to go around. And diabetes is an extremely costly disease that affects the entire society negatively, and it will not be reversed without public awareness and participation in self-participation in taking this initiative first at yourself, and then in your home, and then to the greater society. We will not reverse these trends without that kind of effort. So this is part of the reason why I'm concentrating on this now, because it's something that I have written about, and I have seen the alarming rise in non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And it was alarming to me when I wrote the book, and it continues to be an alarming trend. And this is why I'm particularly focused on this now. But rest assured, Immune for Life covers every age from birth until old age, and that includes Alzheimer's and elderly conditions and elderly decline, including in the immune system. So it will never be obsolete, and it just continues to be more and more validated as time goes on. So I hope you'll join me on either Facebook, YouTube, or Anaerobic, the website, and I hope you'll learn, and I hope you'll take home what you can to improve your own life. So thanks again, everyone, for stopping by, and I'll see you next time. Bye.